And just like that, we're at GatherVerse Summit 2025, day 3. We're here. We've arrived. We've made it. Coming off the heels of 2 incredible days of expression. Much has been said and delivered to us here at GatherVerse.live, where we're so thankful to see so many of you that have showed up once again. 3 days, 3 sets of perspectives from humans, people from around the world, transmetropolitan, transcontinental, expressing at the intersection of emerging technologies and humanity, with the consideration for accessibility, global accessibility, education, equality, community, safety, privacy, wellness, ethics, care, compassion, consideration, trust, verification, understanding, empathy, well-being. We have an incredible set of roundtables and expressions and firesides with us today. Speakers, people, hearts. There's so many things that can be said, yet we get so little bit of time to express it. The expressions that you will hear today will go by fast. We ask that you share and tell a friend, that you bring it into focus, and that you help people to understand the importance of why there are such occasions that we're afforded. There have been times in history where there are those who did not have such affordances, did not have such opportunities to speak and express. Yet we find ourselves with just this opportunity today, tonight, this evening, this afternoon, this morning. What will we do with the time that is given to express on such things at this intersection of humanity and business? What might we learn and better understand heading into this era of AI in the workplace? There's so much to be said. Now, I'll tell you now, if you're looking for this to be the most technically proficient conference that you've ever attended, GatherVerse will never be that. Our front line is not about hardware and software, polymer composites and plastics and headsets and models of AI. Ours begins with the human heart, with care and mutual regard for one another and those that have experiences to share. And you are not alone. Let's get to it. Let's come here to do what we came to do, because we only have a little bit of time to do it in this particular session today. I'm thankful for each of you, our speakers, our attendees, our leaders, our listeners. Whether you're on stage or not, you have a place in the global gathering of GatherVerse. Summit 2025, Day 3. May our gather be well.
And just like that, there we are. Hey, everybody. Can y'all hear me? You can wave, say yes.
Bicycle.
All right. Man, I'm going to tell you, number one, thank you for Christopher for doing this. I don't know anybody else who's able to put together this level of speakers and this interaction like this in a conference. He really did a great introduction to it, but I just want to thank Christopher for that. And the cool thing is we get to talk about the global perspective, how we can work together. I'm Stefan Youngblood, Raleigh, North Carolina. I've done quite a bit globally, traveling and doing some projects. I love to connect. Right now, I run the Black AI think tank as well as the National Black AI Literacy events. And we connect all the time. We have a tremendous meeting that meets every week, and we do some national events quarterly. I'm not going to spend any more time on me. I'm going to get right to these questions, but I'm going to have you introduce yourself. Just take 1 minute if you would, but say one thing that you're grateful for. Just the word that you're grateful, and then you can introduce yourself. Janima, did I say your name right? I'll start with you.
Yes, you did.
It's great to see you.
Hi. Yeah, to start with, I'm Jemima. So I am running an artificial intelligence practice in enterprises. I'm currently connected with Provi, which is a business consulting service. So I was in 13, 14 years with data science, machine learning, and technology. But I'm more curious towards global contribution on the technology, how we could able to do it in a better manner.
Love it. Thank you. You're one thing that you're grateful for. Just a word.
I'm very grateful that I'm so happy and healthy today.
You look happy. It's great to have you. We're all in the same piano room. I hope some of us can play the piano back there. Okay, Anne, I'll have you go next. It's great to have you.
Hi everyone, I'm Anne. I'm based out of Singapore. But one thing I'm really grateful for is that we can travel. I just returned from India from a World Innovation Summit. What I do is I lead leadership coaching school. I turn managers from hell to bosses from heaven. I had 20 years in technology at IBM and focused on all solutions, especially AI. And I now work with leaders to lead a better future for humanity.
I love it. Beautiful. And you might want to bring your mic up if you can. It was a little low to hear you, but we made it out. Thank you so much. And Africa VR Campus, you don't have your name on there, but I'll have you go next. Only 1 minute if you wouldn't mind.
My name is Wayaki calling in from Kiambu, Kenya. I'm thankful for the GatherVerse and may the Gather be well. I founded Africa VR Campus and Center in 2016, regarded as the first active African in the metaverse. And our work is to democratize this industry for the undeserved and for the communities who are kept on the sidelines of technology.
Love it. This is incredible. The group that's here. Chris, I'll have you go next. Thank you for being here.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Chris. My pronouns are they, she, easeful morning or afternoon to all of you. I come to you from the Pecatoa Lands or Baltimore, Maryland. And I work as an intentional content creator where I have disproven that you need to follow trends, that you need to abandon yourself in order to grow on social media. And now that I have been able to grow in such a way where I now get this lovely type of attention, I'm now available to teach others in a community building way how to be intentional with how we show up in the world. So my word of gratitude is always going to be community. So all of my friends who are going to be seeing me stream soon, thank you so much for tuning in. Much, much love. I do this for all of us and all of you. Thank you for having me.
Love it. We get that community vibe from you very well. I'm from down the street in Prince George's County. I grew up there, so Maryland's my place. I went to University of Maryland for 1 day, then I dropped out. That's a whole nother podcast. Okay, Mr. Verma, I'll have you. I didn't want to do your first name, so great to have you. One thing you're grateful for, and it's good to have you here.
Thank you, Stephen, for having me. I'm Abhilekh Verma, and I am grateful for always coming here as a speaker and a panelist, and to see some great talent, supporting us with amazing content. I am a Microsoft MVP in AI based out of Hyderabad, India, and looking forward for my first trip for the MVP Summit in Redmond this year in March. I love to do startup mentorship. I am also having my own edtech startup. Parallelly, I've had around 10 years of corporate experience into training, specifically into business development and sales. So I'm happy to be part of GatherVerse once again and looking forward to learning from each of you. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Great to have you here. Beautiful. Bhavin, Did I say it right? Your mic?
Mike.
Now we
Yes,
got
thank you, Stefan. Good afternoon. My name is Bhavin Kapadia. I'm based here in central London, England. And one thing I'm grateful for is GatherVerse. And as Christopher Lafayette would say, may our gather be well. So I've got used to that motto, and I think it's really good. And like you said, Stefan, Chris's introduction a few minutes ago was really good actually, and is consistently really good. So that's what always brings me to these panels, and I'm fortunate to be on stage a few times. So I always enjoy this and look forward to this, and it's always circled on my calendar. My introduction is been on working in investment banks for several years, and then became a consultant, and these days heavily work building out trading platforms in derivatives in quantitative finance for some big firms, which is great. And nowadays more involved in the strategy and advisory of AI and things of that sort. So grateful to be here. So thank you all.
excellent. Great to have you. You know what I did last night? I actually have seen a number of your videos. It's very cool if somebody can search your name and find a little bit about you. And anyone who's listening to this, I hope you're checking out people's LinkedIn. If you can find those, and those links that they have at the bottom of their name are very, very helpful because people are doing some fantastic things globally. Vivian, great to have you here this morning. Your mic also. Vivian? No mic yet. Okay, now we have, we go. All right, what we're going to do, just so we can take advantage of the time, we'll have Vivian when he comes back. You know, I like the way that this, Chris has this frame in that we can talk about some, maybe the obstacles and things that keep us from doing exactly what Chris said, which is sometimes divided and we want to collaborate. Let me see. How about Anne? I'll start with you. How can technology help tackle challenges that affect multiple? Chris, I'll try it one more time. Are you there?
Oh, you were talking to me. I am so sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Vivian. I was trying Vivian.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we got you. If you wouldn't mind.
For some reason, the mic was not working. Yeah, I'm grateful to be here. I'll make it short. I've been with GatherVerse from the beginning. I think I'm very grateful to Chris for the love and affection on humanity-centered approach that he's brought to bring people from all walks of life. That's my own belief. I run a design studio from San Francisco. We help people build all their ideas, whether it's a physical service or an app or a platform or whatever you want to do. We run that between here and India, and we have several locations in between. I'm really grateful to be here, and thank you for your time, Stefan, to run this.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I've been here a number of times, and it's beautiful. So, Anne, I'm gonna throw that question out to you. You mentioned that you've traveled some, as I see several people here, and we run across things that are obstacles. So, how can technology help tackle some of the challenges that affect multiple regions?
Yeah, I think like you talk about Asia, there are so many countries, different races, different culture, and different ways of doing business. We found that a lot of times, some of the challenges is the ability to share data. So we may have the same problem, but we may have a different approach. And data privacy has been one of the key issues that's preventing the collaboration across the different regions. What I've seen is some of the more commercial entities like Grab, which provides like food ordering and transportation, a similar version of Uber, that tends to do well across countries because as a commercial enterprise, they're able to get the public to share their data for very specific users. But when it comes to governmental across, like when we saw healthcare and all that, there's more limited information that's being shared. I see that there's a lot of technology like AI, IoT, and big data that can really support the evolvement to make life better across the different regions. It's just whether we can have that open collaboration and turning that into real-time analytics to help us grow further. Stefan, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, the data, the whole privacy part, that's a tough one, because do we even want that? Jamima, can I ask you to comment on that? I see you shaking your head there. Is it a good thing to even want data across different regions globally?
Yeah. As you said, right? So, technology acts as both bridge and an accelerator in addressing the global challenges, because it will become the real time communication and the data driven decision making. So, when I work in the healthcare and other things, right? The global genomic databases help to track the disease mutations. So, we have everywhere technology contribute for the global challenges, especially in case of cybersecurity and data privacy, right? You need to have a zero trust security model, ensure your secure collaboration across the jurisdictions, and we always maintain decentralized autonomous networks so that streamline our distribution. So always we will handle those collaboration between the technology and the global challenges to make sure everything is under control.
Hmm. I'm gonna ask this, and I want somebody to do a quick answer in it. A quick answer. Is there someone who might not be for this big global thing where everyone can touch everyone and that data's out there, hopefully secure? Is there anyone who might think that might not be the greatest thing? Okay, let's go with Vivian. You put your hand up first.
Yeah. I think this, one region or one location or one person or one organization solving for all is an old school of thought, because today we are so diverse, we have so many backgrounds, and with the advent of AI being a reality, uh, we really know that people are not the same. At least now, there were assumptions, but we have data points. So it's important to have cultural location, geography, background, perspective of those solutions.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't import or sell from one place to the other without knowing who you're selling to, what you're supporting, and what problems you're solving. Because this whole mass, like I can give you an example of e-commerce. This fast fashion has not really done good to the planet or people. Addictions have come in, and so many other issues that have come with fast fashion. I'm talking about large brands like Temu or Shein and others, things like that. So that's my thought.
Okay. Okay, that's good. And I wanted to put that out there. So when you think about this in partnerships, us working with one another, and let's just say it's across different industries. Bobbin, I know you work on the investment side of it, and you probably see a lot of companies that are not just wanting to work in silos, but they see the value of working together. What do you see that has helped partnerships to happen either globally, internationally, or let's say across Africa or India, a particular country?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the investment sphere and financial services, there's a lot of challenges, um, especially getting data up and running, the right models, um, what is the best practices, how to build out solutions. Things are there's a lot of data, there's a lot of great platforms out there. I'm here in London, but before I used to be in New York and then San Francisco, working with global partners, and still am remotely advising folks. There's a lot of challenges because everything is new and everything is being updated constantly, and there's almost an avalanche of information. And sometimes the people who are more at the junior level know more and are more hands-on and more relevant to initiatives than the people who are the senior leaders these days. So you almost have to be really, it's almost like the tables have turned and the hierarchy has gone upside down. But I think there's a constant learning curve, and there's just no one knows what really is the best practice. So I think sometimes you have to really ask good questions. You have to be really curious, and there's a constant educational learning curiosity that's needed. And if you don't have the appetite to wanting to learn and to get better and not really passionate about your industry, then I think you're going to fall on the wayside. So that's really what my tip is to answer your question.
That's good. That's good. Obstacles that we can think of that might hold that. That's, by the way, I think trust is at the bottom of some of this. Data, privacy, and that big word trust. Just put a hand up if you're on this panel right now and you find that trust is sort of at the bottom of some of the ethics and the data and us wanting to work together. Anyone? No issue with trust? Okay, there you go. All right. Let's see. I'll pose that same question to Africa VR Campus. I know I can't see your name. What practices have been helpful to encourage you to work with folks outside? And I've seen some of your videos as well and your Instagram, and I see you're doing that.
You know, the global reach is always at the palm of our hands. And first of all, I always say that technology is actually here to dissolve those geographical, boundaries that you are told that I'm in Africa, you are in India, or you are in America. As technology dissolves that, and it democratizes the space where we all may gather. Look at what we are doing right now. The space that we have even now, this is democratized. We have got probably all the continents, represented in this forum. And, I look at the names and I look at the faces and I know that somehow we are winning. We are on the way to that, global success. Whatever somebody is, whatever they are doing, whatever each founder or CEO or facilitator is doing, this is all done to facilitate this togetherness, this global unity. And may I even say that if we look at this even politically, the United Nations, who have a very weird name for calling themselves United Nations, are failing because the global situation as it is, it's incomprehensible. People are at war. People are spreading hate. And, as grassroots leaders, like you said, as people who are leading in their own corner of their own little world, I guess this has now befallen on us. It behoves us now to capture the arteries of the world and tie them together in ties that bind.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And again, I see you doing it. I see people using social media really to connect globally. And again, I've watched you. I think that's very cool. Someone else want to throw your hat in there to talk about any obstacle that's made, in particular for you, international collaboration difficult? Something that we haven't heard. There you go, Mr. Verma.
Yeah, I think one of the key challenges, like when I travel a lot delivering lectures, so I also had chance to mentor some startups. So I've been to Korea as well. One of the biggest challenges was language barrier. So while talking to them and understanding was a challenge, considering I don't know Korean, and it was a little difficult to use the translation apps. So I would actually type in my own language and then they would type back. So there was a difference of getting that information. It took a few minutes to understand that, even when I was exhibiting my own startup in the Korean ecosystem. So I found it a little difficult, but again, luckily we have this AI tools, and those AI tools with the voice based recognition and things like that, those language barriers can still be handled, what I understand. And obviously, like this cultural differences, regulatory disparities are going to be there, so that also will take time. But I think with the help of AI, all these hinders, all these challenges which we are getting can be seamlessly catered to. And I believe, like with the advent of AI, a lot of things can be done brilliantly well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Let's see. We haven't come to Chris. Chris, I know that you're working on things. You love community. It shines all over you. From Baltimore. What kind of things help to encourage you to work together with people across borders? And you probably have a lot of diversity right there in Baltimore.
I do. Yes, I definitely do. Just in Baltimore alone. But I'll say that what has encouraged me is that I know in the deepest parts of me that we are better if we're together. I understand and have a fundamental awareness that my existence on this earth is not accepted from everyone, and that there are many people who would not want me to live this beautiful, big, free life that I think everyone deserves to live. And so for me, that drive comes from a deep necessity and want and desire and longing for community, because I know that that can change and save lives. There have been many times I am diagnosed with depression. I am diagnosed with social anxiety, which, a lot of people wouldn't believe because of how outgoing I am now. But I had to really train myself to be this person, to allow myself or even think that I deserve to show up or even deserve to have community. I was somebody, unfortunately, who was heavily bullied most of my life up until college. And so I deeply struggled with even believing that I deserved to have people in my life. And so now I am at a place where I no longer subscribe to that narrative. I no longer subscribe to the idea that I need to rough it out or grind hard, get hard, eat, play hard. I don't even know the sayings. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many. I no longer subscribe to that. I now subscribe to this idea of ease over friction. Where can I import more tenderness in my life? Because that's what we all deserve. And what I've realized, what came with that tenderness was the openness of community. That when I put myself out there, people were willing to listen, hear me, platform me, celebrate me, love on me, fight for me. And I could keep going. I literally have chills when I think about this, because I lost my dear father. And I always bring him up when I talk about these things, because he has, yes, the power of tenderness. Thank you, Stefan. He has instilled this in me, this idea, because he had multiple sclerosis. So he was somebody who had to push to be heard. And so I feel so lucky. And I mean this truly. I feel so grateful every day that I'm here, because there was a time in my life when I did not want to be here anymore, many times in my life. And so now I look at my phone, and every notification, every app, every email, every message, every contact in my phone is valuable to me. And I never thought I would get a life like that. And I feel so deserving. And so anyway, that was a long way of me saying I built this brick by brick because I felt like I deserved it.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I want to tell you, that wasn't long. That was probably part of the gold here. And we are glad that you are here and that you didn't get to a place where you can't go any longer. We know that mental health and wellness, it plagues us all. And AI is going to probably bring a lot more of that to the surface. I love what you said about tenderness. And just with that, we're all here because we know that Chris has cultivated a spirit of humanity and humanness. And inside that is empathy. I care about everyone here. You look at your phone, Chris, and you care about who you see there. Well, another reason that extends beyond that we're here is empathy. If you put hands and feet and arms with it, it turns into compassion, because empathy is feeling very deeply about someone that, man, I feel that hurt and I want to do something. But compassion is you get out of yourself and I'm going to help change life for that person. I'm going to actually help to be that change. And I think some of these change agents are on the stage right now. Let's see. Well, let's go down to the question with how can technology improve cross-cultural understanding? Some of you are if you're using AI for that right now, and I know, Mr. Verma, you mentioned you're doing it with language translation. Any other person want to say how you're using AI right now? Cross-cultural. You got it, Vivian? And then let's see. Let's go to Anne after that. Your mic again. Vivian, your mic. Okay, we'll come right back to you. Anne, would you comment on that one? You're doing things cross-culturally right now. How is technology serving that?
Yes, one of the things I wanted to really congratulate Chris for sharing her tender story with us, because technology is an enabler and it's a bridge But we often forget the human factor because the people, the leaders, are the ones that bind the teams together. So technology will accelerate on its pace, but it's how people use it. So the technology that we use here, like across the multilingual Asia, there are so many. Firstly, like the translation pieces, we also have like, now the AI enabled videos and all that can auto translate marketing materials. And we also have AI that enables us to kind of understand the deep cultural aspects, because we're living with very diverse communication silos and cultural differences. And there's also digital literacy differences. So people who are maybe from an older generation that may not use technology like we do in every part of our life. So I think the ways to bridge that is really about education and introducing the tools to people. So there's the whole proliferation of all the AI, both um, generative as well as non-generative AI that's being used, and that ability to adapt to the cultures, the way of speaking. It's going to be the next stage where even the body language and the eye contact, I think those will be the new technology that will come in beyond just language.
There's so much in facial recognition, and y'all already know this, that right now some people are trying to judge your sentiment. Is he really into this? Does she like it? What's her mood right now? And trying to look through, and you can't always read. You're going to get that wrong a lot, especially if we're doing cross-cultural things and relying on AI to really interpret someone well. But that's really interesting. Bob, and let me come to you, because I bet companies are coming to you looking for funding, you're looking for interesting things, and you're probably looking long term. So how do you feel about the cross-cultural part of technology? Do you see some groups where it's improving them now? Your mic also, your mic.
In terms of cross-cultural, I think like AI and financial services security is a big business, which has just evolved and just exploded in recent years. You're seeing firms in particular Israel, which are really, really almost like the Silicon Valley of on the transatlantic side of things, and a major hub on security. So they're really growing, and you're seeing a lot of firms in America in particular that are acquiring firms in Israel, startups. So that's a big thing within financial services, because in terms of financial services and investments and M&A, data and privacy is a really big issue, because proprietary data is very sensitive to a financial institution who want to protect the sensitive models and internally and externally. And they can be sometimes, because programming languages are very accessible and can be hacked on the back end. So to secure that, and with the right permissions and the right security protocols, it's really becoming like a really big issue. And I actually foresee that one day in the next couple of years, in fact, a really global institution of systemic risk, which holds a lot of assets, is going to get exposed. So I think that's just something that's floating below the radar, and something that might, out of nowhere become a massive issue, and then become a chain reaction.
Really, you mentioned the word chain. Really quick, do you think that might be blockchain based, what you just mentioned?
So there's various assets, but I think in terms of blockchain, that's usually very it's on the back end of trading life cycles and security settlements. Blockchain isn't the answer at the moment to the front office side of things, which is the revenue generator of banks and hedge funds. So if somehow an evolution of blockchain or a spin-off that can protect the front office side of things for a bank, which is the big, really where the banks make all the money on the front office side rather than back office, then that's a big thing. But that's why I said, going back to data and AI security, and firms being acquired in Israel and others, because they protect the front office side of the business. So But yeah, it's probably a combination of various components.
Interesting. I'm going to move on through these questions because I think we're coming at very interesting angles from this and getting through. Here's one. How do you evaluate the success of global collaborations? And I'm just going to say this one because along with the financial success, I know that some of you all work from a place of care, of humanness, of humanity, of empathy, and as I said, compassion. So it's not just the money. I know some of you all, if you were able to give a place of AI literacy and teach an entire group of people, maybe that would be success. Let's see. Let's say now, Vivian, I hope your mic is on this time.
Yes. Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yeah, let's put this question to you. A short answer. How do you evaluate the success of global collaboration?
Yeah, sorry about the mic. It was not in my control.
Okay.
As of this success, I think there is an answer when what I'll give you from my own experience. We're using, and Bhavin, this is in your territory of finance, fintech and digital banking professionals in a particular country. We helped them because they were feeling that they're going to be now without a job and things like that. First is to remove the fear. Second is to take the same traditional workers to be in control of the technology and teach them how to use this as tools. It's as simple as that. I took that off from one of my startups, which took the manual scavenging, that is cleaning the gutters, a human doing that in India, to making robots to do it, and made the same scavengers to be robot operators. Now there's dignity, no loss of job. There is humanity there at the center of that innovation. And that's the same thing that I think AI can do to show as a success, that you're not replacing but empowering more people. For example, things that you couldn't do earlier because of lack of technology or your knowledge, now you can do the same things. There's more job opportunities for people to transition between roles, between things that they did just using the tools. And I think that's a success.
Somebody else, what's a success for you when it comes to what we're doing? How do you evaluate it? You got it, Anne. I'll have you go first.
Yeah, I think I like to name two examples. One of it more on a financial industry level, where Singapore had launched like the investment in Web3 and blockchain. That creating a blockchain hub actually helps us to eliminate the trust barriers in international collaboration. But on a more sustainable level, it's about the digital literacy. So what ASEAN has done is across 10 countries launched this digital integration framework. So there's an effort to educate all the small, medium enterprises, because these are companies who don't have the same similar funding resources in terms of money and people to train them up. So the definition of that success is, other than just profit, is really measuring the social impact of how these SME can grow and impact the communities around them. And it's also about enabling them to scale, because technology can really help them to rise up in their ranks. So I guess success is not just about money, but also the lives that we uplift along the way.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's really good. I'll come to you, Africa. Chris first. I saw you had your hand up. A short answer.
Excuse me. Yes, short answer. Could you restate the question? Because now I'm distracted by all of the loveliness that Anne said.
Well, you're the start of it. How do you evaluate the success of global collaboration? So looking even at what you do, how do you know whether it's successful?
I know it's successful, number one, when I enjoy what I'm doing and I'm doing it for free. I'm not making any money. But I also know that I'm successful because I am having real conversations with real people every day. What's really beautiful about what I've been able to create with this intentionalness is that as soon as somebody follows me, I'm interacting with them, I'm shouting them out, I'm giving them their flowers so they know who I am. And they know that I'm a person too. And it has created such a beautiful way where we're able to like come together in a real way. And so I would definitely say that.
Your message is very strong and coming across there.
Thank you.
Africa VR, you had your hand up.
Yeah, in the mid 70s, in Cambodia, there was the killing fields, done by Pol Pot. And the reason why I started my story there is because one of the victims whose mother actually died in their presence wanted to give a story. And our students who have done free XR classes and now they are knowledgeable in the metaverse hosted him in the metaverse.
Oh, wow.
Where he gave that story.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
these students are between the ages of 16 and 18. Their mothers are younger than the man whose mother died in the late 70s. This guy is 75 years old. And so where else, I asked during that meeting, could that have taken place? The man needed to fly all the way to Nairobi probably, and we needed to hire an expensive gallery to show his exhibitions, to show his paintings as he depicted the death of his mother. But did all of that happen? No. We never used $1 to bring all of that together. And we are bringing a Cambodian. The AI is doing the translation between the languages that we are speaking, and it was just wonderful, and these girls, the students who had no idea of a place in Cambodia, now they know that problems existed, in the history, and that set them to open the books of history and learn more. You are absorbing each other's cultures. It's not just about financial success. Yes, it's about social impact, and that's, to me, is a real success.
I love that. I love that you started what you said with someone else to show us what's important. And we learn a lot from pain. I bet everybody here has been through something, or family or something, but there's something very deep and profound that comes from your students understanding as much as they can, that empathy, the pain of another people group like that. Boy, that's really good. As an evaluation, I don't think AI came up too much in that talk just now. I got more people, but I don't know if it was all about, we're going to go to AI and say, hey, were we successful? I'm really interested in whether you think by the year 2030, we're going to be asking AI, hey, how did I do? Or will we be asking people, how did we do with AI? I'm not going to ask that question because it's not on the thing. Future developments. And Chris, I see your thing over here. We have a few more minutes. Future developments. This is really good. Africa, I know you're doing VR. I know you're doing the headsets. By the way, Chris remembers when we started a church in the metaverse. We were using AltSpace. Everybody had Oculus. And I was doing it from my house and other people. And it was globally, all over the place. People would tune in at one particular time. Station here, NBC, they do a thing called the Today Show. They contacted us and said, we heard you do this church that's global, and said, yeah. And they said, well, can we come? Of course you can. And they came in and they saw what was happening, just people around the world coming together. And then it was on the Today Show. They said they even have churches in the metaverse and stuff. So it was a way for us to connect people. What other future developments could further strengthen collaboration or shared challenges? Let's do a really quick run through that. Let's start with Mr. Verma. What future developments do you think could strengthen this? By the way, number one, GatherVerse. It's already doing it. It's obvious. Okay.
Right. I think a lot of advancements in AI, blockchain, and IoT, all these are actually strengthening the global collaborations. Let's just talk about data-driven decision making or improving supply chain transparency, as well as facilitating more efficient resource allocation, right? So all these technological things are really impacting. I can share from my own experience, like, for example, we are using Netflix and, Amazon Prime a lot to watch movies and all. In future, a lot of actors would be using a method where the way how they talk, the way how they walk, all their instructions, everything will be done by a digital likeness model of them, which is built through AI with a blockchain technology.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, if some Hollywood actor is not free and they don't want to travel to UK, actually, their digital likeness model approved on a blockchain will work for them. And actually, all these production houses sitting, you can save a lot of money because the accommodation cost, flight, everything gets striked off. So yeah, I mean, technology in terms of future, what I see, especially with Elon Musk's models and things like that, there's just amazing things which we can do with the futuristic approach.
It's on an exponential curve up. Jemima, I'll have you go next.
Yeah. So I would take that need to have some global health initiatives. So any
Oh,
advancement in television,
mhm.
any wearable health devices, global health data sharing will
Nice.
improve the coordinated response of health crisis.
Mm,
Because recently we are researching with AI to make the paralytic people to
mhm,
understand what they are saying. They are not
mm,
capable of communicating what they actually think. So
mhm,
now, with the help of technology and AI, we
mhm,
are reading their brain waves and training the
mm,
system to read from their brain waves, so they
mm,
could able to communicate what they want. So like that, we can start an initiative which could help humankind and make it possible where the areas are not possible so
mm.
far.
Oh, that's really big. I'm glad you brought health into it. By the way, some of us probably heard of a recent development in pharmaceuticals in China that was a very large breakthrough of a drug that they found. I think it's like our Kimoda, might be getting that name wrong, but it was very big. And listen, if it's saving people, we need to be hearing about it. Anybody want to throw one last thing in here? Okay, Vivian, really quick. And I see you,
Yeah,
Chris.
I think what I would like to see. Am I muted? No.
No, we hear you.
Okay. So what I'd like to see is sustainability move from a slide and a good to have point in your bullets in your deck to
Mhm,
real impact in life, because sustainability is not should not be just a fashion or a trend, but actual differences in our lives, whether it's use of plastic or technology or digital well-being, all of that. Because the more AI models, the more of these energy utilization is finally the cost of electricity,
mhm,
and at what cost.
mm,
So I would like to see if we have real measurable development in sustainability as a practice.
mm. That's good. That's good. Um, yeah, I love every bit. Bhavin, before we end, I'd love to hear
Yeah,
from you.
yeah. Just a last note. Just because one last thing. In terms of future developments, and since it's a hot topic within a big bank recently, I'll say remote working uh, is a
Hmm.
straightforward proponent of, because not everybody lives in the city.
Hmm.
So people who are living in the suburbs don't have the accessibility to enter a big city
Hmm.
via transportation issues. So I think it should be more in the power of the employee or colleague to make that
Mm.
decision when possible and have their freedom of expression. So I think
Yes.
that balance is could be a big challenge, but I'm a big advocate for that.
I love it 100%. There are people listening internationally right now on a cell phone, and they're doing business and starting companies on a cell phone. So, this is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Chris, thank
Thanks,
you for
Stefan.
putting together. Yeah, this is very cool. And how about this? Make sure you connect. So instead of there being an obstacle, if you're on stage, just even do one person. Make sure you say, hey, I'm so and so. If there's any way we can work together, let me know or something. Just at least do one. If you can't do everybody, at least do one. And again, this was shared challenges we were doing here. I want to thank all of you for taking the time out. And we have a rest of the day here. Chris has some really cool sessions that are going to be happening. I don't know of any other group that meets like this in this sort of compressed amount of time and gets across this type of information globally at once. So very cool. Thank you for GatherVerse.
Bye.
All right. Thank you all so much. And with
Thank you.
that, I think Chris is going to be coming up here. And thank you very much.